giving you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, it's a dark moment in the history of our country. It's a very painful moment in the history of our regained new nation. But while we have all this anguish, we have no doubt that the forebearers of this struggle, Chief Ayamba, Abed Mukong, Justice Ebong, Pa Molanjo Litumbe, His Excellency John Foncha, His Excellency A.N. Joa, His Excellency E.M.L. Endele, His Excellency S.T. Mona, Mr. Martin Luma, Ambassador Fosong, Fongoji Dinka, Prof. Anyangwe, whether alive or dead, look upon our people, one, with a lot of pride, that finally we have taken what is ours. Two, look on our people with a lot of pain, because the slaughter of Ambazonia that started on the eve of the 1st of October and continued unabated till this day is a catastrophe of history that many historians would live to write, and many legal houses would analyze until the long arm of justice serves the perpetrators of these heinous crimes that we carried on our peace-loving citizens. Fellow Ambazonians, as His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe has pronounced severally, and several of our leaders in the governing council, most of our founders, John Foncha, to name just a few, Dr. Endele, A.N. Joa, and even S.T. Mona, upon leaving this world, regretted the accident of history of 1961. You will all remember that they went to the United Nations for one mission to take back our country. It is that wish of theirs that has grown to the kind of proportions that we see today. Fellow Ambazonians, as I speak to you, I can hear the echoes of the mother, excuse me, in Kumbo, in Mamfe, whose children, whose family suffocated from tear gas pumped into their houses by this terrorist government, with no way to escape, as bullets were being shot in the air endlessly. As I speak to you, I can hear the voices of grandmothers in a corner in a Yomojok, who in their own watchful eyes saw this brutal regime, the brutal occupier, lay bullets into their husbands, into their sons, on their heads, their chests, their stomachs, on their legs, on their hands, as if to say, if you cannot die, that hand or that leg, you will never use it again. As I address you, I see the scary images of the young girl whose face was cut into two by a shot from a helicopter whose driver we promise will be known, and the full arm of the law will not bring back the face, but justice must be saved. Justice must be served. Fellow citizens, as I speak to you, I remember the anguish of that father, that brother, that sister, who's not seen their loved ones, family members, breadwinners of their families, from the 1st of October. It is a sad day. It is a sad moment in the history of Ambazonia. A message to La République du Cameroon. The Ambazonian people have taken back their country. The Ambazonian people have taken back their nation. The celebration on the 1st of October was very significant. It was very, very significant. Fellow citizens, let's remember that as we celebrated the 1st of October in the whole of Ambaland and everywhere in the diaspora where our people were, the Catalonians were doing the same thing. Not a single Catalonian was killed. Not one. Not one. So to those of you who still doubted the sheer brutality of the occupier, who still doubted the sheer hate of the occupier, who still doubted the slaughterhouse and intentions of the occupier, this is your time. To those of you who called all of the leaders announced at the beginning, and many more I have not called, this is your time. This is your time to see that this union has not worked for 56 years, and it is never going to work. It will never work. Let's remember that after the carnage of the 1st of October right till date, and especially the invasion of the neighborhoods in La République du Cameroon where our people live, to many of those who have been the favored babies of this criminal regime, to many of those who have been used as surrogates to slaughter their people, the sheer brutality of this terrorist government, this occupier, visited some of you that I'm speaking to right now, right inside your own houses out of Ambazonia. Your doors were broken into. You were bitten like snakes, dogs and rats, as they've called us. You were arrested, and you were forced to sign that you are against the struggle of the Ambazonian people. Fellow Ambazonians, the beauty of this moment is that I cannot count the thousands of calls that I have personally received from ex-unionists who still thought there was a chance, from ex-federalists who still thought there was a chance. Our people in their millions, estimated at about 6.3 million on every street, in every village, and in every town, in the country and in the diaspora, on the 22nd of September, did what the world will call the Congress of the People, which was again replicated on the 1st of October as we celebrated the restoration of our nation. For those of you who still doubt, the message to you is very clear. So this message is to all Ambazonians. You are not safe wherever you are. Whether you're in Ambazonia, you're in La République, or you're in the diaspora like some of us, you are not safe. You are not safe. But this is a message that we are giving the Ambazonian people from the Governing Council. His Excellency SCACUF has articulated it so many times. And I'd like to repeat that again. That when you want to celebrate Christmas or New Year, you do not need permission from anybody. Ambazonians needed permission from nobody to celebrate the 56th anniversary of their independence. That's why La Republique confirmed the significance of that day, and ironically, in their usual intrigues, celebrated the 1st of October in Bafoussam, in Douala, in Yaoundé, in that country, all wearing CPDM regalia. The question we've been asking our international partners is, why were there celebrations in two countries on a very significant date, and so many people were butchered and massacred in one side of that equation, and in another side of the same equation, precisely in La Republique du Cameroon, people drank into the next day, got drunk, slept on the road, nobody got arrested, nobody was shot at, even rubber bullets. So let's make it abundantly clear to all our people. The nationalist, Ambazonian nationalist, this is just a confirmation to the recruits in their millions, the ex-federalist and the ex-nationalist. This message is partly for you, and most importantly, for those of you who are still daydreaming, especially those of you who are so shameless. The corpse of our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, grandmothers, it's still in mortuaries with warm blood, still lying somewhere there in the bush because the numbers keep rising. Many of our people are in hospitals, do not have medication. Some legs have been cut, hands cut. And you have the audacity to announce yourself as a presidential candidate of a foreign country. Of your fathers were prevented from being temporal presidents for one crime only. They were Anglophones in that country. What a shame. We know of two of you. We know of a few politicians. We know of a few church leaders who've crossed the red line. But let's send this message again abundantly clear to those of you who are sellouts, to those of you who've been eating on the flesh and pain of our people. This is a God-ordained struggle. This is an hour chosen by God. That is why when La Republique thought this was an internet, war propagated by a few so-called extremists in the diaspora, the 22nd gave La Republique the answer, and you, their surrogates, those of you who've been paid to betray our struggle. The 22nd of September was your answer. The 1st of September, even with the military presence on all streets, villages, and towns of our country, was your answer. Let's send this message very clear to you. God spoke to the Ambazonian people, and God has been speaking for a very long period of time. Long before the founders of our nation died, and most importantly from 1985, when we took this criminal terrorist government into different local and almost freedom of today in their millions. And God parted the Red Sea into two. Our people walked across the Red Sea on dry land towards our promised land. Remember? Towards our promised land. As we speak, that Red Sea has been closed. That Red Sea has been closed. Closed to all Ambazonians. Whether you are an apologetic nationalist with La Republique du Cameroon, wherever you live, at home in the diaspora, at home or in the diaspora, in Ambazonia or in the La Republique diaspora, let the message be clear to you and to federalists that the Red Sea has been closed. The Red Sea has been closed. When the Lord God closed the Red Sea, it was never opened again. and that Red Sea will never be opened again. Ambazonians are moving forward. It's forward ever, backwards never. Nobody can stop us because freedom is not given, it's taken. To those of you who enjoy the blood of our people, who enjoy the pain of our people, to those of you apologists who prefer to go back and become slaves, like some, when the Egyptians were going away, cried and said, rather than suffering, because this promised land would take a few days, we want it now, we rather want to go back and continue to be slaves. Let the message be very clear that this struggle is being led by intellectuals. This struggle is being led by revolutionaries. This struggle is being led by patriots. This struggle has been led by people who love Ambazonia so much that the one thing they're not scared of is death, and that includes me. The one thing they're not scared of is death. The one thing they fear the most is the betrayal of the Ambazonian people. And from the governing council, from all our leadership, we give you a word that we would never betray you. We will free our land very soon. And to any of those I've mentioned, as you go back into La Republic, the Red Sea will swallow you. As you go back into La Republic, the Red Sea will swallow you. His Excellency Sisiko asked me specifically to send a wonderful message of thanks to all our people for their endless sacrifices. The pain is very, very deep. Very, very, very deep. It is scary that Amnesty International at the end of day 1 announced that 7 people had died. At the end of day 2 announced that 17 people had died. And as the days went on, we then went to the number 71, and it's more than 100, and the count continues. The count continues. Jesus, this is scary and this is painful. We've lost more than 100 of our people, slaughtered like animals, like dogs, like Bernard Okalia had promised. More than 100. Shot with live bullets. Shot with live bullets. Suffocated in their houses. Very many, especially in Mamfe and Boya's intelligence points, were shot from a helicopter using a silencer so that nobody in front knows what's awaiting them. We still pick up the corpse of our people in farms, some in rivers, and the count keeps going up. More than 540 of our people were wounded brutally. More than 540. The sheer volume of the atrocities meted on our people meant that more than 5,000 of our people are currently displaced as at now, and more than 1,400 missing, and so many of them unaccounted for. So many of our people, now in the thousands, especially young men, are scattered in jails that are still controlled by the occupier in our land. So many more in La Republic. Some in halls because the jails are completely full. And maybe if there's anything more scary, it is the fact that while all of these atrocities were being committed, Mr. Paul Biya's government, the terrorist government in Yaoundé, did not only use a Beti militia, did not only hire mercenaries from Chad, from Equatorial Guinea, paid for from classified intelligence that has now reached us. This terrorist government did not only shoot with live bullets. There are very strong allegations that this government used radioactive substance during this terrorist operation. And fellow Ambazonians, the use of radioactive substance, it's a war crime. The use of radioactive substance on peaceful civilians, matching with green plants only, and the flag of their country, with green plants representing a sign of peace. It's a very serious crime in the international circle. We want to then tell our people that these atrocities continue to be documented. We want to tell our people that the international community is alarmed. The international community is alarmed. You have read what was released by the UN Secretary General. You have heard what the UN Secretary General spokesperson said, and in many responses to interviews asked by wonderful journalists, and we thank you so much. The one thing is certain: the United Nations had observers on the ground. They've asked a lot of public to investigate itself. We're not sure how criminals can investigate themselves, how murderers can investigate themselves. But we believe that the United Nations has set a trap for this terrorist government in Yaoundé. You read the release of the African Union. It clearly asked both parties, Ambazonians and La République du Cameroon, to show restraint. Let it be known that there's no restraint to be shown from the Ambazonian side, because we've never been violent people. We have never been violent. Our message has always been clear: self-defense. We've never preached war. We don't have guns, and we did not ask our people to carry any arms, and they did not. But what's very important in the AU release is it called upon La République du Cameroon to respect its boundaries as at the day they acquired independence. And those are the boundaries of the 1st of January 1960, which do not include the land of Ambazonia. Let it be known that Amnesty International has come out very strong. The honorable parliamentarian in Germany has come out very strong. Britain has come out very strong. And many, many more countries. Let it be equally known that when you do diplomatic work, you don't go on social media to advertise every single thing you do. Let our people be rest assured that La République set for itself a trap. It fell on it, and as we speak, La République is very restless, because the global community is under terrorist government like you can never believe. The atrocities of the first, the second, the third, right to death has so badly exposed this government that when the King Biya, who's been out of his country from about mid-September to date, on holiday, enjoying a safari in his other home in Switzerland. When the king comes, we will enjoy the drama. But it is a shame, indeed a very big shame, that a country you call yours is burning and you're on holidays. We know that when President Obama went for campaigns and heard that there was a little bit of trouble in America, he returned back home. When President Donald Trump had a similar situation, he returned back home. They don't do it the next day. They do it immediately, same day. And there's one thing your king, citizens of La République du Cameroon, has done. He has gone onto social media and put his propaganda statement that conflict is always resolved through dialogue. Let the people of Ambazonia know that we will never allow the perpetrators of these heinous crimes in our land go scot-free. Our intelligence is closing down on their nets, and our legal department, internally and externally in the UK and in the US, are working very hard as beaten pieces of evidence come in. We know who gave orders at different places. And we're sending a very strong message to Mr. Paul Biya, a very strong message to Laurent Eso, a very strong message to Issa Chiruma, a very strong message to the colonial administrator in the northern zone, L'Afrique, as well as the colonial administrator in the southern zone, Bernard Okalia, and of course the dual senior divisional officer in Mamfe County, to Ekema, and a few of you whose names are being heard will be released at the right time. You will never go scot-free. You can kill as many people as you want, but we assure you, you will regret what you did to the Ambazonian people. You will regret being part of a grand conspiracy to hire mercenaries and tribal militias and unleash them on peaceful people, peacefully expressing what truly is theirs. A right to express themselves, a right to celebrate their Restoration or Independence Day, a day that they have celebrated, a day they would continue to celebrate, and there is nothing you will ever do to that. Fellow Ambazonians, the pain is deep. But it is important that we remember that while the various governing council teams continue to do the wonderful work they're doing, while our different sister organizations continue to do the wonderful work they're doing, we are going to stay resolute on the path that has been mapped by our forebears. There will be no war in Ambazonia. The governing council, your leading authority, will never allow the occupier to run a war on our territory, because that was their wish. They had hoped they'll come and meet us with guns. They had hoped they'll come and meet us with bombs, so that they could have a license to murder our people. Fellow Ambazonians, we understand your pain. I have family, I have friends, I have relatives that lost very dear ones. But let it be known that the wisdom of a celebration of the first that had to be peaceful was ordained by God. If we had guns in our country, more than 1,000 of our people would have been slaughtered. La Republic would have been given a license to do what they're doing, and the wonderful victories that we are getting in the international arena would not have manifested. Our diplomatic friends had told us, as the governing council, that we must declare and defend. We must declare and defend. So we are in the arena of defending. And as we defend, a very big thanks to the Takumbans. We're very proud of you. You're doing a wonderful job. We know you're currently collecting funds, relief funds to support the many victims that have unfortunately been put in very miserable conditions, some dead, by this terrorist government. We want to give a lot of thanks to so many of our funds and chiefs. We thank you so much for working with the governing council. We thank you so much for respecting the will of our people, for hosting the flag of your people, for singing the national anthem of your country with your people, and standing side by side with your people at all costs, with so much risk to your own personal life and that of your family. We send special thanks to all members of parliament, all of you who have withdrawn from the parliament of the colonizer. You listened to your conscience and you did the right thing. History will remember the day you made that declaration. The Ambazonian people are very grateful to you. To our compatriots, you must understand the significance of our parliamentarians and senators living this unholy, illegal union. When they leave, it means we have no ties with the occupier. The few that have left have given so much boost to our struggle. A lot of ambassadors, a lot of friendly countries have told us to continue to push and ensure that all our parliamentarians leave. We're giving several deadlines to all of them, whether in the SDF or in the CPDM. We want to advise you as Ambazonians, talking to Ambazonian fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters. You have betrayed your people for too long. But Ambazonians are civil and very forgiving. If only for the manslaughter that happened in our land, do it in honor of the martyrs. Do it in honor of the more than 100 of our people that were brutally slain. Do in honor of the so many hundreds of our people that have now been rendered handicapped. We ask our people to keep talking to these that continue to sell the revolution. We ask your family members to keep talking to you. We advise you to remember that this is an unstoppable train. You are now on your own. The sooner you come back home so that we can free our people quicker, the better. Just remember that the moment all parliamentarians from the CPDM and SDF withdraw out of the occupiers' glass chambers or terrorist chambers, that will send a message to all our diplomatic friends, to the international community, that the final cut that bonded our two nations has been broken. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow parliamentarians, fellow senators, please do it for posterity. Do it for your own children who are slaves in their own countries, who are slaves abroad, and they are reminded as foreigners everywhere they go, every day. Fellow Ambazonian parliamentarians and senators, do it for your children's children. If not for them, do it for the many of our people that are in hospital today, languishing from the pain of this terrorist government. Let it be known we will not stop. We will not stop until every link with this terrorist government is broken. There are few defiance instructions that we continue to give you. And one of them is, as an Ambazonian, remember you've pledged your loyalty to the Ambazonian nation. You signed the Oath of Allegiance. You signed our independence petition. So never ever sing the national anthem of the occupier. If you are in their security forces waiting for the right time to come out, when they sing their national anthem, stay quiet. 2, do not allow their flag anywhere on our land. That flag is a sign of oppression. We cannot allow it, that symbol of suppression, to continue to fly on our land. Next, decide and say, you will never speak French again until Ambazonia is free. They come into your village, in a clinic, at the gendarmerie or police station. They speak a language of oppression to you. You go into their own land, they speak the same language of oppression to you. You work for 30 years, you go on retirement. It's time for you to collect your pension, your own money. You die on terrible roads to the colonizer's capital. And eventually, if you are lucky, you're only able to get a bit of your own money after paying them a bribe of 30, 40, or 50% of your own money. Ambazonians, this nonsense must stop. This nonsense must stop. They get up one day, they talk about creating bilingual commissions or bilingual schools or whatever. and 70% of those are in Ambazonia, which only occupies 20% of the land. Can you believe that? 70% of those. La Republique, with 80% of the land, has 30%. Listen, I spoke to a number of principals and teachers that led some of these institutions, and they lamented the assimilation project they were forced to implement. And they thank God for this revolution, and they told me to tell you that the Red Sea has been parted and we've crossed. That statement didn't come from me, it came from one of our people. Fellow Ambazonians, the message is very clear. We are very bitter, but very hopeful. Very hopeful because the leader of our revolution and our nation was very clear to say to a lot of people in their land, 4-5 years after we completely separate, they will come back to visit us, offer business, drive on our roads, go to our public offices, see the treatment being given to them by our soldiers and police officers, and they will say, indeed, these people had a right. We don't see why they were fighting. Ambazonians, do take note that you should not pay taxes, should not pay toll gates. If any of them are perpetrating these acts of oppression and suppression against our people, take videos, take recordings, send them to us, because that's what the international community is waiting for. And most importantly, any of them who shoot our people, arrest them and take them to the Fun's Palace. We know that that's ground that they cannot desecrate. Yes, over the last 35 years with Mr. Biya at the helm, the mistake of fund of funds was met, and that mistake our people have rejected. It will never repeat themselves again. We want our people to remember that in defending our country, we will defend it as intelligent people. We will defend it as civilized people. We will shock La Republique. Ambazonians, we've heard you. We know how angry so many of you are. You've begged for guns. You want war. From the governing council, we announce, we have never declared war. We'll never declare war, because Pa Mulanjo Litumbe did not declare war. Fongoji Dinka did not declare war. All our leaders, none of them declared war. But what do we do while we're being illegally abducted, while we're being illegally shot at, and so on? What do we do when this government targets a young man to wipe them up? Unfortunately, young Ambazonians, your number one responsibility in the homelands or abroad is to protect Ambazonia, our homeland, is to protect the weak in our society, the women, the girls, and the young. So officially, we must defend ourselves. Self-defense in international law is an inalienable right. By self-defense, fellow Ambazonians, what we mean by this is, please, form vigilantes. Know your environment. Know the sellouts. Know the hypocrites inside your midst. Develop a communication system that has lines drawn across several quarters. Make sure everybody has a whistle. Let every Ambazonian be another Ambazonian's keeper. One for all for one. The moment you hear, for instance, while in Kumba in Fiangu, that the occupiers are getting into a particular quarter, you should have self-defense commanders in different areas of our country who will ensure that these perpetrators will not go out. They succeeded on the first because we never knew that human beings could be so brutal. And so the instruction to close all our borders with trees, very big lumps, like what happened in the southern zone in one of the towns, with everything you see on the road, all cars and trucks and so on. Listen, let's make sure we do that. Let's make sure we do that. There are certain areas in Ambazonia where when these people get in and you lock them up, if you're able to send that information to us as quickly as possible, there are international organizations now with telescopes in specific areas around the southern Cameroons with satellite. They will be able to zoom in into where these criminal terrorist operations are being taken place, and they will get first-hand evidence. Just like they are scoping the whole of the southern Cameroons, looking for evidence of the mass graves we've heard in Bafut, in Boya, as well as the one in Soa, in La République du Cameroon. They're scoping the whole of our territory, looking at dead bodies that we hear were ferried from different villages in the northern and southern zone in the 13 counties and thrown into the deep ocean in Victoria. Fellow Ambazonians, these are serious crimes against humanity, very painful ones, very, very painful ones. Listen, in international law, you have a right to defend yourself by every means possible. Every means possible. And while you defend yourself, within your vigilantes, please have escape routes as well. One of the most important tools you can use when you know you're overpowered is use escape route, but please alert us so that we can get the international parties to immediately ring onto Yaoundé almost immediately. It's very sad to know that so many of our people do not only remain unaccounted for, they are hiding in bushes, they are living on the wild or like wild animals. Why? Why, and why, and why? Why would this criminal government do this kind of a thing? All we've been asking for is to take what is ours, is to get into the dialogue table and negotiate. And yes, they unleashed this terrorism on our people. Fellow Ambazonians, so what is the way forward? Let's be very clear. There will be no war in Ambazonia. We're not going to allow that to happen. But we're going to do everything to increase our self-defense capacity. We will defend ourselves at all costs. La République would have no excuse to give the international community that we declared war. It's not going to happen. Details on the self-defense will be rolled out to you by a Department or Ministry of Defense who are now consolidating efforts and ensuring that the test for unity that many of you have been crying finally becomes true. Because we must go to Boya as one person on one horse. Or put it differently, we must eventually take over Boya as one person and one horse. That must happen. Nobody's going to stop it. The second item with regards to our way forward is all Ambazonians everywhere around the world must ensure that they continue to pay their last respects to our fallen heroes, our men and women that were slaughtered by this brutal regime. The instruction from His Excellency, the leader of our revolution, chairman of the Governing Council, was that we are using this week, the 9th to the 14th of October, to lay our people to rest. Let's take them to our palaces so that traditional rites are performed on them. Let's take them to our churches because we remain people who fear God, so that men of God that minister their part in this. Let's wrap the coffins with the flag of our nation, sing a national anthem to salute them as the water, soil, unfortunately, with the blood of liberty, and give them the most dignified burial possible. That will be from the 9th to the 14th. And to all others that will be buried after that date, or those that have been buried before that date, please let them be given the same respect as well. We hear that La Republic military personnel that might have used, chemical weapons, radioactive substance in some of their operations did not only kidnap the corpse of our people, those that spared mass graves and being thrown into the ocean. We are told that the forced burials happening in certain compounds and people are being forced not to see them. The message is bury no one without seeing and confirming you're burying your people. Let it not happen. Let it not happen no matter what. We equally call upon all medical facilities all over Ambazonia to do tests for radioactive substance, because the allegation we hear seems to be very, very tangible. When we combine this allegation with allegations that this government spent about 26 billion to bribe certain actors in the international arena to cover their crimes of the 1st of October in order to delay us having a seat at the AU or the UN, we can only send a message that evil never hides. Evil will never win over justice. And that while this hour looks like the darkest hour in the lives of Ambazonians, our dawn is here and will be achieved much quicker if we as a people really work together. Next, there is a lot of relief and support being carried out by the SCACUF, Human Services and Social Department, by Atakumbang women, by country heads, fellow Ambazonians. If you've never shown love for our country, this is your hour. This is your moment. It's not enough to say Ambazonia Oye. It's not enough to say Happy Restoration Day Ambazonia. It is now our time, the living, to take care of the slaughtered and victims in very terrible conditions. We call on all Ambazonians to make investments like they have never made before. Invest like you have never made before. Like many of us, do it fearing all we got. But if you fear, do it covertly, because what's very important is that all our people that were slaughtered, whose bodies we have, must be given dignified burials, and some already have been helped by the governing council. All our people that were slaughtered and remain unaccounted for, La Republic will produce them, whether they like it or not. All our people that were brutally wounded, especially those shot in the hands and in the legs, to repeat what happened in Sierra Leone, so that the arms and legs are amputated, like some that we have seen. These ones, you and me, we need to make sure they get all the medication that is required, all the medical help that is required, because this terrorist government, will never do it. They didn't do it for the victims of Legnos. They wouldn't do it to victims of the terrorist acts. To all our people who were illegally abducted and are locked up in different jails, we ask you to remain strong. Those in Kondenge are very strong. They remain solid. They send a message of solidarity to you, and they tell you, just like Comrade Patrick Asandango had said, that if dying is the price to free our nation, so be it. Because a free Ambazonia is better than the hell we are living in today. We ask you to remain resolute. We ask you to remember that the reason why we moved from the demand for federation to a complete demand for restoration was because Mr. Paul Biya told Dr. Bala, Dr. Fontaine, Justice Ayapo, and all who dared to listen at that time, that federation is not a topic to be discussed with the occupier, that there would never be federation in that country, and that anybody who mentions federation, yes, we can dialogue with you, but your place would eventually be in Kondenge and bunkers when we kidnap you. Fellow Ambazonians, that is what activated the anger in all of us, and we asked ourselves, if you have a diamond mine, which is yours, and this diamond mine has been stolen away by an armed robber, when you recover that diamond mine where you used to work like a slave, and now you see you can get everything from it, will you want to go back? In fact, Barrister Bala told them in December that while they were asking for federation and they kept rejecting it, there will be a time when they will come back and that will be off the table. The message again is very clear to those of you who went forward and want to go backwards, to those of you who still think you can dine with the devil. The Red Sea was closed after we crossed. There will be no dialogue with La Republique du Cameroon on the question of federation. There will only be a dialogue on the question of separation, which must take place, because the evidence, the preponderance of evidence we have now is scary after the insane activities of the terrorist government. Our conditions have been very clear. They have been very clear that whether their commander-in-chief, Mr. Paul Biya, who's on holiday on exile in Switzerland, thank you to all comrades in Europe who fell on him and his hotel in Intercontinental, whether he finally sends messages of condolences to our people, what a shame. He sends messages to President Donald Trump, but is not even able to pronounce that there should be investigations because himself and his cabal know what happened. Fellow citizens, those negotiations will happen soon. Where will they happen? It will be on a neutral territory. The negotiation will be on a round table. You've heard from us consistently. There will be no big people and small people. There will be no big nations and small nations. It will be stiff, difficult dialogue with the assassination of our people, where our unshakable conditions will be put under the umpire of the United Nations that must defend UN Resolution 1514 and stop colonialism, that must defend UN Resolution 1608, that slated the 1st of October, a day of independence. That they will come. And in that neutral territory, there will be other institutions, other bodies and organizations like the African Union, ECOWAS. These are institutions we're working very closely with. There will be international parties. There will be countries like Britain and France. Britain for failing to complete the project to free us, and France for receiving us as un petit cadeau, a small gift from Britain. That truth will never hide. You can kill all of us, but that truth will never hide. Now let's make this abundantly clear to all again to listen. Any of you who decide to allow La Republique du Cameroon to bribe you so that you go into negotiations to represent the Ambazonian people, we advise you to back off. The Ambazonian people have one governing council, one leading authority, under the leadership of His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabi. Only him, in consultation with the governing council, in consultation with a senior statesman in consultation with the church and in consultation with many experts, will constitute a delegation to represent our people. And let it be known that no matter the size of that delegation will not go anywhere if one single Ambazonian kidnapped as a result of this struggle remains in abduction cells wherever. That negotiation will never go on if Mancho BBC, the leader of the Coffin Revolution, is not sitting side by side with His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe and many others. It would never go on if Penn Terence, if Comrade Asa Patrick Ndango, and all leaders who stay true to our cause are not on a round table to decide who makes up that delegation that must be led by the Governing Council. Let's make no mistake that while there remains some bickering between some of our organizations, while some of our organizations continue to rebel from the center, the one thing everybody agrees is that there's one united front, there's one governing authority, the Governing Council, and we all have to work hard to ensure that we pull all our people back into the house. And that's an olive branch we send to parliamentarians, to senators, that's an olive branch we send to the Federalist as well as to the Unionist. We send that in good faith, but we assure you that there will be no negotiations if any of our people, if 5-month-old pregnant Ngum is still in a jail. We will never go into negotiations if the handicapped brother of ours was brutally slaughtered by this criminal regime in his house, on a wheelchair, armless. We will never get into negotiations if serious investigations are not carried out so that the perpetrators of these heinous crimes against our people are brought to justice. There will be no negotiations until La Republique condemns its acts of brutality against our people, pulls out all its forces of occupation that have now made the peaceful land of Ambazonia a war zone. These conditions are unshakable conditions. To La Republique, you can kill as many of us as you want, but let it be known that this is the People's Movement. Let it be known, like we've told you so many times, that you will never again rule our people. Because we told you you could not rule our people without their consent, you doubted it, and the answer of the 22nd was very obvious. Fellow Ambazonians, so while we bury the dead, while we take care of the wounded, while we take care of sisters and mothers that were raped, while we take care of our people that are on the run, while we take care of our distressed people in their millions, please, please, and please, do not allow the side attractions or distractions that you see coming into a revolution. If any of you has read about revolutions, it's normal. This criminal government will always come into the house and use one of us to destroy us. The call for an audit report to have been released was a good one. To have asked that that be released while we're struggling to bury our people was lack of priority. The Governing Councils asked all our people to pull back and show restraint and focus on relief and support activities. We want to send a very strong warning to any one of you, especially those of you using our structures to discredit the struggle and bring unwarranted tensions at this hour, that this struggle knows how to separate, the good ones from the bad ones. The struggle will see you as chaff very soon. The struggle will cut you apart. We ask you to stay focused. Remember, we said that some of you go back and drown in River Nile. Let it be warned that allegations are only allegations. Facts are facts. The governing council will never hide any misappropriation or misconduct by anybody. We will always ensure that the prosperous Ambazonia, the transparent Ambazonia, the democratic Ambazonia is that and nothing else. Remember that while we are all volunteers in this, and we are giving 500% of everything we have, there could be errors. Let's fix these errors while going ahead. Let's forgive each other. Please, let's focus on the project. And the project is to finally take out this occupier from our land. We don't need to belabor that point again. So let the message come out clearly again. What's the way forward? Please, let's not continue to talk about restoration when we're not taking care of those in a lot of pain in our country. Donate. Donate in thousands, in tens of thousands, and in hundreds. Do it openly or covertly. Do that to the Takumbans. Do that to our relief and support committees. Do that to the country leaders. If you are an Ambazonian, born of an Ambazonian mother or father, ask yourself, what have you done for Ambazonia? And if you've done so much, I beg of you that while you continue to be strong and determined, while your resilience continues to grow, this is the time when we talk money. That's number one. Please let that money come in. It is that money that will take us quicker to where we're going. But remember, there's something bigger than money, which is what a lot of us in the governing council are doing. Reach out to those NGOs. Reach out to our diplomatic friends, friendly countries. Reach out to friendly organizations. They have a critical role to play. What's very important for now is that our treasury needs to be so full that every single one gets support from the center, one center, the center of funds for our people. I talked to a brother today who called one of the hospitals in our land and heard somebody's hand was being amputated and the family did not have money, and personally decided to send 200,000 francs, CFA, the colonizers, the occupiers' money. Amba is coming soon. Brother, thank you, and I celebrate you so much. We encourage most of you to please contribute to your country heads. Why? We don't want one family receiving 5 donations while 10 other families are not talking to anybody and not receiving any support. By that token, you've got contact numbers on the screen and you've got emails there. We ask upon our people in the land. We know, unfortunately, that with internet cuts, many of you are disenfranchised and are completely unable to communicate some of the evidence that you have with regards to the atrocities of this government. But we ask you, fellow Ambazonians, please, please, and please, do this for yourself and do it for the struggle. It is your responsibility to use those contact numbers and send us very detailed information in the following categories. If somebody was killed, we want to get the person's full names. We want to know the date on which the person was killed. We want to know the location where the person was killed. We want to know how the person was killed. We want to know if the person was killed by the army. And what language was the army speaking? Were they speaking English, French, or Spanish? Because a lot of them speak in Spanish. Okay? That's very important. What language were they speaking? And who were these people? Were they bees? Please give us as much information as you can. Were they on the street? Were they in their houses? And at the end of any information you send, make sure you send a contact number and contact person. We promise you that that information will be kept very discreet. For our people who were wounded brutally, you want to provide the same set of answers. Who suffered, death, where it happened, where were they shot, where are these people, are they receiving medical treatment, who is providing that medical treatment, in which hospital, contact person, contact number. Anybody who was raped, same story. Anybody you know, whether family member, neighbor, or whatever, who was abducted and taken to enter any of the jails, same information. Who was abducted, when, where, excuse me, do you know the jail in which they are, contact number? Any of our people who remain unaccounted for, missing, please provide the same information. I'll tell you why. Because we are in touch with all international organizations, some that have released very powerful statements to collaborate with the Catholic Church, the Presbyterian Church, some of our political leaders like Nijon Frundi, like Akere Mona, like Honorable Wiba called genocide in the southern Cameroons. But these organizations will not be able to pronounce as such hard or bring out such hard statements until they have the facts. So we beg upon all Ambazonians, there is nothing better you can do to our nation and our struggle now than make sure that we have all of these facts. This is a revolutionary duty, and it is as important as you contributing money to the struggle. Fellow Ambazonians, the question has been, so where to from here? After, we support the wounded and so on. We must defend ourselves. The vigilante groups in our country must take their rightful place in history, but remain smart, remain vigilant, because the prayer we have is that of liberating Ambazonia more through diplomatic means, more through the legal, and lastly through self-defense, so that we finally free a country full of Ambazonians, where you and me can celebrate on the horse as we march up to Boya and finally say 56 years of slavery is over. A message to the church. We want to beg the church to please remember that the church has always stood with the oppressed. The church has always stood with the suppressed. While we thank you for the messages of this government's arson and brutality, we are saddened that while some of our people were raped in some of your schools, and some of the schools were burnt by their own security forces as they guarded them, you have still asked for schools to resume. Let's remind our people that what led to the restoration movement was the miseducation and misteaching of our people. We repeat from the Governing Council that anybody who calls upon schools to go out now is an associate, is a collaborator, is a partner of La République du Cameroon. We call upon the church to stay and do church work. Let the church stay out of politics. We want our church to remain the center of our society. We remember South Africa in the days of apartheid, when Winnie Mandela, the mother of Africa, would stand to send a message of courage to her people. Bishop Desmond Tutu was side by side with Iron Lady, Mama Winnie Mandela. Desmond Tutu stayed resolute till this day. He has never changed. Will never accept anything wrong. God says, let's forgive. We are forgiving the church. We're asking the church as the Governing Council to get back in line. There will be no schools in Ambazonia this year. We said it before restoration, and we want to repeat it again. We are convinced that with the kind of pressure that is being put on the cabal in Yaoundé, I'm happy to announce that our pupils should get ready for their schools resuming on the 8th of January 2018. Schools in Ambazonia will resume on the 8th of January 2018. And of course, that will be when some of the mothers of Ambazonians will be in court and be finding life very, very difficult. That is when they must have pulled out all their mercenaries and their tribal militias. Would like to warn the Republic of Cameroon that let it be known that you are guilty for schools not going on in Ambazonia till now, because no rightful thinking parent will send their children to schools guarded by military rapists. No right thinking father or mother will send their children to schools when the roads are littered with military, war-torn security personnel, some of them mercenaries hired to come and kill, to come and murder, and to come and slaughter. It is for that reason that we will continue to keep our children home. But we promise you that as a governing council, we will do everything in our powers to ensure that as we celebrate Christmas and New Year, we will be celebrating and moving into a land which is peaceful, a land where there's hope again, and a land where our children will be given the education, the 21st century education we have promised, in a country that cares for its people, that protects its people, and gives them all the security that they deserve. Fellow Ambazonians, the plan of the Governing Council was post 1st of October to suspend ghost towns, because it's now abundantly clear to La République du Cameroon who governs Ambazonia. That was the plan. We thank all our people. We thank the business community for you've suffered so much and you continue to sacrifice. But let's remember that just like prayer and worship, boycott is one of the biggest tools that must be used in every struggle that is peaceful. So ghost towns will continue, but they would only be on Mondays. They will be observed across the Ambazonian territory. It is our message of solidarity continuously being sent to the occupier that they can never lord over us and they can never rule over us again. If need be, we might announce additional days, but we understand the pain of our people. We understand the need to put bread and butter on your families and take care of the displaced and the distressed. But let's do it for our freedom. Let's do it for the restoration of our nationhood. Let's not give La République any reason to believe that they can intimidate and kill us and we surrender. We're not armies, we are not animals. We are citizens whose dignity must be respected. And that La République must do, whether they like it or not. Fellow Ambazonians, we have heard you. Many of you have asked, when will the Governing Council be transformed into a government, an interim government of the people of Ambazonia? It is true that when you declare your restoration and you become a nation like we are now, you then have to appoint ministers, you have to appoint ambassadors who will take care of the business of a revolution. Fellow Ambazonians, as you would know, all our country leaders do not only act as ambassadors as we speak for our people within the different structures. They've got a Department of Foreign Affairs or Diplomacy, whose main job is foreign affairs and diplomacy. And I can tell you that we have reached out to so many friendly countries. We've reached out to so many friendly organizations, including businesses that are committed and ready to ensure that the journey to push out the occupier doesn't take long. Fellow Ambazonians, many of you might not know, but I would like to use this opportunity as instructed by the Governing Council to announce that within the Governing Council we've got different departments. We've got a Department of Home Affairs, for instance. We've got a Department of Defense. We've We've got a Department of Human and Social Security where relief and support work is done, and many more, like Foreign Affairs. These departments are now in their transitional period. They are in the transitional period because we cannot rush into things. His Excellency Sisiku cannot single-handedly announce a government. That government would not be inclusive. The government would divide us more. So in the next few weeks, very few weeks, there will be an enlarged conclave, the fourth conclave. In that conclave, all members of the governing council will be there. All citizens, senior citizens that have never sold out on this course will be there. All country heads will be there. All heads of departments will be there. And strategic resources that will be brought in so that we do not repeat the mistake of Fumban. Fellow Ambazonians, I therefore happily announce that in the next few weeks, as we converge in yet an undisclosed location at a date that remains undisclosed now, at a time that remains undisclosed now, we will be coming out of that conclave with the most united front, with the first post-1st October 2017 government or interim government of the Ambazonian people. Where chairman will truly be transformed as per the dictates of our conclave from the chairman of the governing council to the interim president of our nation, where the vice chairman will become the vice president, the secretary general, and so on. It is in that conclave that if our leaders decide to move certain portfolios so that we can quicken our journey to Boya, that will be done. So rest assured that the governing council is listening to you. Rest assured that the governing council has been having meetings from the 29th of September on a daily basis. And some of these meetings stretch to the early hours of the morning, some for more than 6 hours, because your pain and your anguish is so deep and we just cannot sleep. The government in exile remains focused and very determined. We call on our people to remain focused and determined. We call on our people to remain vigilant. We call on our people not to be deceived. We have said we want to dialogue because whenever there's strife, it's always solved on the dialogue table. We have not accepted dialogue from La Republique because La Republique has not offered dialogue. Those are cheap political statements that have been made by jailbirds because jails are waiting for them, like Issa Chiruma, who rather than sending messages of condolences to the hundreds of our people that were seriously distressed and killed, he congratulated the mercenary forces and militias for doing a great job. Ambazonians, freedom is not free. Ambazonians, freedom is not cheap. Ambazonians, freedom is taken, it's not given. Ambazonians, our people are united. Our people are determined. Our people are resilient, and our people are focused. Let's do the right thing for Mother Ambazonia. Rather than criticizing, contribute ideas. Rather than grandstanding, because this is not a fashion show, show some commitment to support this movement, to move from one step to the next. Because truly, we will remember the true greats of this struggle. As I conclude, we send a message to La Republique du Cameroon that bye-bye, Ambazonia is gone, and that injustice would never win over justice. The days of all perpetrators is coming. To all citizens of La République du Cameroon that continue to support us, to support the struggle, to give us intelligence, we thank you so much. Please protect our people in your land. We've given a commitment to protect your people in our land. This struggle would never be a francophone, anglophone struggle because it's not an internal affair. It's a state-to-state affair. This is strife. This is a struggle where there are two nations, Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon. Our biggest enemy is your government. They are surrogates and agents, and you know that. Continue to pray for us and continue to show solidarity with this cause. We are saddened there will be no street marches. We are hopeful that now that the king has almost abdicated the throne and remains in Europe for very long, you'll take advantage of this and send a message to the international community that Ambazonian people are correct. Fellow Ambazonians, do not give up. Fellow Ambazonians, do not return back to the Red Sea and be swallowed. Fellow Ambazonians, this is a time that history has called upon you and me to play a part. Fear no one and not even fear death, but fear betraying the struggle. We assure you that so long as we continue to show the same kind of resilience, the same kind of determination, so long as we continue to reject war, but ensure that we protect our neighborhoods, we protect our environment and protect our people, surely someday this terrorist government will realize that is not possible again. Let's starve them of all economic interests that makes them see our land as juicy and keep preying on our people. I want to thank you for listening. I want to send messages of condolences again from His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe, a leader, a president, and a chairman, from Patasang, a vice chairman, from Milanatam, the Secretary General of our Revolution, from all the country leaders, from all heads of departments, and from the greats of our struggle, like Professor Carlson Anyangwe, Pa Mulanjo Lutumbe, Ambassador Fossong, Fongoji Dinka, and you name the rest. They send one message: do not buy into war. Focus on self-defense. We'll beat them in court, we'll beat them in diplomacy, and we'll free our land. Fellow Ambazonians, our dawn is coming, and as we move into that dawn, Ambazonia will be free, Ambazonia will be prosperous, and Ambazonia will be democratic. I thank you for listening, and God bless you. I have not taken calls for quite a while because there was need for us to give specific instructions to our people. I'm here tonight to talk to our people wherever they are. We're not sure if any of our people will be able to talk to us from the homelands, especially when the cellular companies like MTN, like Orange, like Nextel, and so on, colluded with the criminal terrorist government in Yaoundé to ensure that our people are not able to have the necessary facts of the arson that is being awaited by all international organizations. But to any of you listening to me tonight, wherever you are, I'd like to talk to our people. Please call into the studio, ask questions, ask comments, and if you have a positive message for the struggle, you'd like to address our people in English or in any of our languages, in any of our 13 counties, please do that. The lines are now open.
Yeah, Namina is calling. Hello? Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. I just want to join the military Amazonians. I'm coming Yaoundé now. So I just want to know better information.
To the person who's calling now, I'm going to make an appeal that just give us about a minute as the technicians in studio try to get that right so that I do not miss your question.
Okay.
Or comment.
Thank you.
This is a time not only to inspire people but tell them the truth. That Ambazonia is an independent country. We have already taken back a country, we just need to defend it. With self-defense, not war. We want to be very clear on that from the Governing Council. Yes. Yes, let's hear that caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me? All right, as the technicians try to get the lines right, we promise you that they will get the lines right. We took a decision in council, from the Governing Council, to come and assure our people that the struggle is on track, that we are moving faster than we had imagined, even though we are in pain and we are mourning. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. All right, we're still trying to get the lines through, but we will. We have another caller. Hello, caller. Tell us where you're calling from. Give your message as briefly as possible, and make sure you switch off the receiver every time you call into studio. Please always go straight to the point. Thank you very much. Our lines are open. We have a caller. We have a caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. From the Governing Council, we're really hoping that we will be able to engage with our people. Please keep the calls coming. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. All right. That call still dropping. Technicians are working on that. Keep the calls coming. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. All right, please do not give up. Very important we engage with our people, especially those of you who might be in La République du Cameroon and have some information that is critical for this struggle. Please remember that there's information you can share on the air. There's information you can always send to our leadership that can be used for a legal and diplomatic onslaught. Let's remember that self-defense is backed by a diplomatic onslaught. Do not allow anybody to tell you that if we're talking self-defense, we should not talk diplomacy. That's a lie. A struggle has 3 arms. Let nobody fool you. All of these arms are very important and play critical roles. Diplomacy opens unbelievable doors. Legal, put a case where it should be, and put perpetrators of arson and gross human rights abuses in their worst possible conditions. And of course, self-defense ensures that the casualty numbers are reduced. We hope and pray that this madness or carnage unleashed on a peaceful people never repeats itself again. And that's a warning to Yaoundé, a very, very serious warning. You've heard it from so many institutions already. All right, I'd like to know from the technical department, are lines going through? Technical department, are lines going through? Oh my God. Sorry, I need to know. Should we wait a little bit? All right. Fellow Ambazonians, as you try to call into studio, and we struggle to get the lines coming through, we want to assure you that we're doing everything in our powers to make sure that we're able to reach out to you tonight. To those of you in Europe, to those of you in the Middle East, to those of you in the Americas, to those of you wherever in Africa, in Australia, wherever you are, we will talk to you. We will talk to you. You must remember that when internet was shut in our part of the country, when internet was shut across Ambazonia, when internet was shut on our land, there was an important announcement SCACUF made that most of our people do not yet know. So when you call your families, we should be a revolutionary responsibility for all of us out of Ambazonia, wherever you are, including in the La Republique diaspora. Please remember that a leader named different streets and state assets after great people in a revolution. What we currently call the Bafut Airport shouldn't be called the Bafut Airport by any of our people again. That is Dr. Martin Loma International Airport, and let it be so. When you get into Bamenda, the capital city of the northern zone in Mezam County, Commercial Avenue ceases from being called Commercial Avenue again. It is now Chief Ayamba Avenue. Tell your children, tell your grandparents, tell everybody. When you get into a taxi and you think that you could have the wrong people, you know what to do. But when you go into the old Commercial Avenue, please remember, you're going to Chief Ayamba Avenue. And to my compatriots in the capital of our country, when you leave Munya, you get to mile 17, and you're driving up to the Prime Minister's Lodge, our presidency. Remember, you are on Albert Mukong Avenue. Let's test if the lines are going through now. Hello, caller? Hello, caller? Hello, caller? Our technical department is working very hard to resolve this. Hello, caller? Hello, caller? The blackouts in our land, in short, that the heinous crimes, the brutality unleashed on our people, that some of it remains covered. But we will get all of it. All of it. Even if whole families were wiped out, we will get all of it, and we will ensure this never repeats itself again. Never and never and never again. The one tool we all need as Ambazonians is unity. Let's stop the bickering of this small organization and that other small organization trying to position itself. I have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. The technical department is getting close. I think we lost that first caller. We have another caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. All right, we will get it right. I promise you. Ambazonians will never give up. We don't give up. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Caller, greetings.
Hello?
Greetings from the State House. How are you?
Hello.
Greetings, and I hear you clearly. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Yes, greetings.
Hello?
I hear you. How are you?
Hello.
All right. The current caller is very clear in studio, but I'm not sure why the caller is not hearing me. So, hello, caller. I hear you. Please speak.
I'm getting you 5.5.
Fine. Please carry on.
This is son of man from Manual Division.
Wonderful, my brother, and condolences to our people. Our heart is broken.
Yeah. The situation in Manual is very, very rough there.
Okay. Okay.
Those terrorists are there to go. 11 father and a catechism. Very, very good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so the situation there, for me, I can say that it's very tough. So it's better if people don't.
All right. The last part of it, fizz it a little bit. Please carry on. Carry on, please. I can hear you.
I'm saying that the situation is very, very rough.
Okay.
Because now they're going door to door, collecting young boys, beating them, taking them to prison.
Okay.
Asking them to give money that they cannot even provide for.
Okay. 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 Fellow compatriot from Manu County, we are bleeding. Initial data that comes in shows that Manu lost so many people. This cabal, the mercenaries, did not only shoot people and killed, a lot of people's hands and legs were shot, so much property destroyed, and now the cabal has a new scheme in Manu, in Boya, in some of our places, that when they kidnap people in the night, they demand that they pay 400 to 500,000 francs. We ask Ambazonians not to pay. Do not pay. If you must pay that money, make sure you have enough evidence of who's collecting that money, where that person is collecting that money and sent to us. We promise you, that person will vomit not only the money, but the blood of our people. We ask citizens in Manu to remain vigilant. Self-defense has been declared. Please remember, we will never allow war in our country. We understand the pain, but this is the darkest hour of the night. We ask you not to give up. Please do not give up. Do not give up. They will give up. In fact, the message they've given to the international community is that all the mercenaries, called security forces, have been pulled out. They will go out and these criminals will account. It's wonderful to get a call from homeland. Wow, from the home front. Thank you, brother. Thank you. God keep you safe till that day. Till that day. Thank you. The lines are still open. Fellow Ambazonians, especially those of you in the homeland, if you have a possibility to call, I think those of you on VPN, please call and tell us what is happening. Tell us what you are doing, what your community is doing in order to ensure that the carnage and mistake of the 1st of October does not repeat itself again. Please remember that this terrorist government would not go free. Remember that the people abducted illegally, they will be released. And we told them that Dr. Bala, Fontem, Justice Aya, and about 50 other brothers will be released. They would not have accepted. Remain strong. Nelson Mandela was asked to leave jail so many times. He gave a condition. I will never leave jail until all my people are free. Nelson Mandela was there for 27 years. He never changed his position. And out of jail, he became the president of his country and led that country to become one of the best in Africa. Fellow Ambazonians, our cost is just, our cost is genuine, our cost is legitimate, our cost is timely, our cost is unstoppable, and make no mistake, we are already a free people. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. All right, the lines are still open. Please call in. Make no mistake. Hello, caller. We are already a free people. Hello, caller. Is somebody talking? Hello, caller. Yeah, the volume is low. Try and increase your volume, please.
Hello.
Yes, hello, sir. How are you?
Hello.
I greet you, comrade.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you 5 on 5. Carry on, carry on.
Hello.
All right. Can technical department get the caller to know
Hello.
they are clear? To everybody listening.
Yes, hello, sir.
The lines are clear. So when you call, please start talking.
Yes, this is Uncle P. I'm not really getting you. I hope you are getting me.
Uncle P, I hear you 5 on 5. Please carry on.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you 5 on 5. Carry on.
Well, I just suppose and hope you are getting me. Mr. Milan,
Mr. Milton.
Mr. Milton.
Uncle P.
I just encourage people back that they have left alone with this. Most of us were waiting that the governing council ahead with the defense, and I was very glad to get the chairman's order with him to go ahead with our self-defense actions.
Okay.
So as from now, let me this to all this, the SPOs and all administrators perpetrating this pain on us.
Yeah.
Time has reached for them. We are no longer begging. They have our brothers, but they should remember that they are on the wrong side. They are on the wrong side.
Yeah.
They have what we wanted to do. We wanted to, and they were refusing that. We are not. Now they have closed all that we are a driven country.
Yeah.
Have made mistake. Are on the even side order. They are in our territory.
Yeah.
Closed. Okay. I am giving them now warning.
Yeah.
Enough is enough, and they will start the pain on. Time has gone by that we were.
Yeah.
Let me start by warning the end up.
Yeah.
In move.
All right, unfortunately, we lost Uncle P there, but the message is very clear that the days of these criminals are numbered and justice will be served someday. Thank you, Uncle P. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller. That was Uncle P from Germany, Hamburg, I think. Hello, caller. Caller, can you hear me? And like I said, the moment you call into studio, our technicians are doing their best, but I can hear you speaking. Please just carry on so I can respond to you. If you do not hear me, just carry on. Hello, speaker. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Militon.
Comrade, I greet you. You are very clear. Carry on. Unfortunately, we lost that caller. Caller, tell us where you're calling from. Very important. We want to track calls from home in particular. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
My brother, you are very, very clear. Please carry on.
Yeah, I'm calling from Italy.
Oh, from Italy. Yes, my brother.
Yes, I just want to salute the courage of the governing council. And I called my country head yesterday to ask a series of questions, but we were supposed to talk this evening. I just got the answers from the spokesman, Comrade Taka Militon. So
Okay.
nothing much. Everything is in place. I will always shout here that everybody should to make the effort to fund the struggle.
Yeah.
I am in charge of mobilization in Italy.
Wonderful.
Contact our country head, he will tell you who I am.
Wonderful.
So I just want to say that we should fund the struggle. Wherever we are, we should fund the struggle.
Wonderful.
Everybody should make the effort to tip in something. We
Yes.
need that now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the great job you have been doing.
Thank you, sir.
Forever. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, comrade from Italy. You heard the message? Fund the struggle. Fund the struggle. That is the message. Fund the struggle. Fund relief and support. That is your most patriotic call now. Hello, caller. Thanks, comrades in Italy. Hello, caller. And in all other countries where you're doing the same thing. The message is sacrifice, sacrifice, and sacrifice. Your pocket make it shake.
Yes.
That's the call from our people. Hello, caller.
Yes, hello. I wish to ask.
Okay.
Yes, I've heard a number of streets in Amberland have been changed. I wish to know if a town like Kumba has also been changed.
No, comrade. Kumba has not been changed. His Excellency changed the name of Korende Limbe into our old name, Victoria. So the town that hosts Sonora from now on henceforth is Victoria. Our people must not make that mistake and use the colonial name used by the occupiers. Thank you. Kumba has not been changed, comrade. K-Town remains K-Town. Hello, comrade. Hello, comrade. Please carry on. When you call, just carry on. Hello, comrade. Comrade, you have the airwaves. Please carry on. Oh, we lost that caller. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller. Tell us where you're calling from.
Mr. Militon, good evening.
My brother, good evening. You are very clear. Carry on, please.
I'm calling from Du in Donga Mountain Division.
Wow. From Du. That's amazing. My brother, carry on.
Yeah. Now, I just want to send some warning to some people that are sending our name to, writing our names and sending to the police that they should come and arrest us as Cameroon. They should be very, very careful.
Yeah. That's a very clear message. That's a very clear message. Would like to warn Ambazonians that are sellouts in our communities that are giving names to the occupying force to come and arrest our people, that your community knows you. We've asked communities to send you a warning so that you know they know. We're asking you to be very careful. The slogan of this revolution is one for all for one. And if you really like La Republique so much, please go on exile in La Republique. That's a serious warning. You heard it from Donga Mantum County. Hello, comrade.
Yeah, I am calling from Donga.
Okay, just please.
Are you hearing me?
Increase the volume a little bit. Just push up your volume.
Okay, I am just asking to say about this. What happened was that the military came here and get me well beaten.
Okay.
So I just want to sound a warning to them. Next time, Adam and life will go for them.
Okay.
Either they should surrender right now by beating, harassing, and threatening theirs.
Yes.
I'm calling right from Sabongari because I was well supposed to address.
Wow. Wow. To all our comrades in the diaspora, I know we're very united, but those are the voices of our courageous young men and women of substance from the homeland. And I hope La Republique is getting this serious warning. No intimidation would stop us. Hello, comrade. Oh, we lost that caller. Please keep the calls coming, especially in the homelands. Hello, caller.
Hello, good evening, sir.
We greet you, sir. Please tell us where you're calling from, the county.
Yeah, I'm calling from Oklahoma City in the U.S.
Oh, wonderful, my brother. Please carry on.
Yes, my call is actually to encourage many people out there, especially you and the governing council.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some debates on Facebook back and forth. I just want to let you people know that even Nelson Mandela was discredited by so many people. So many people did not like his approach, but today, many South Africans are enjoying what he worked for.
Absolutely.
In the United States, I'm enjoying because of the civil rights activists who fought for equality for all, freedom for everyone.
Yes.
And today we're walking on the streets, not remembering that people died on those streets, people's blood was shed on those streets.
Yeah.
I just want to say, do not listen to naysayers, and that we'll do our best to contribute online. Personally, I haven't, but I've created my account today.
Wonderful.
And I will do it irrespective of what anyone says.
Wonderful.
So thank you very much and keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. And while the comrade talks about online support at SCACUF.org, I read a WhatsApp that said, if you have not yet contributed on that platform to support teachers, lawyers who have not had salaries, and are distressed people now to support SCBC, you should suspend yourself from the struggle for 1 week. We appeal that start today. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Please contribute. Fellow comrade, please talk to us. Talk to us, comrade. The message to all our leaders is, there's no retreat, no surrender. If anybody resigns, you have betrayed the people. Hear that from me. You cannot resign. When you resign, where are the thousands of our people that continue to suffer? Where are the millions? There's no going back. And if there are any problems, we must fix them. Nelson Mandela was discredited by so many of his people. And here we are in our thousands, Ambazonians in this country. When will South Africans be in a country in their thousands as well? Let's fight and free Ambazonia people. Fellow caller, we have callers on the line. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Our lines are still open, like I said. If you call and you cannot hear me, it could be a technical glitch. Please start talking. When you talk, I hear you clearly. Just start talking. Hello, caller.
Hello.
I greet you, sir. Please carry on.
Good evening.
Good evening, comrade, and revolutionary greetings.
Hello.
Yes, good evening and revolutionary greetings. Like I said, I can hear you. You might not hear me, but please carry on. I'm listening. If I'm quiet, you know I'm waiting for you to talk. Please carry on. Carry on. I'm listening. While our technical team continues to do their best to resolve this technical glitch, our lines are still open. Hello, caller. All right, I'm going to introduce something now. If you see me say talk, if you see my hand in the air, you know I've given you room to talk. Please talk. Brother, you're clear. We lost that caller. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller. Please carry on. Talk. Talk.
Hello?
Yes, caller, please talk. When you see my hand, it means you should talk.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, comrade. Please carry on.
Yes. Yeah, this is Munate from Santa.
Wow, from Santa. That's my own county.
Yeah.
Please carry on.
Yeah, so the point about it is that
Yeah.
our phones, our lawyers have been corrupted by the elite of the regime, the police regime.
Okay.
So therefore, when you say that we should work with them, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Because they are the people now who are giving our name, the elite, who have corrupted them from birth.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult for us to work with them.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion that the government has to look for another system to work together instead of having the phones.
Yeah.
The phones are totally a failure.
Yeah.
They are now in 20 or some left, the elite who are now collaborating with the Republic Army to arrest them.
Yes.
So I think that issue of working with the phones is not going to work out.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Comrade from Santa County, thank you very much. To chiefs, funds, thank you. And any colonial administrators that partner in the act of showing our people to be abducted, we ask you to stop. We tell you that we're taking note of you. And we tell you that we will remind you of the instruction. We tell our people, like the comrade has said, that where you have a foreign chief who's terribly compromised and his or her family cannot warn them properly, ignore them and have your own commander. They will have their day, we promise you. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Funds and chiefs must know that they are banned from getting to La Republic, just like parliamentarians and senators. That is an offense against a people. Hello, caller. Caller, can you hear me? If you do, we lost that caller. Lines are open. Please carry on. Please carry on. Like I said, if you see my hand going up, you know I'm listening to you. You have the lines. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
I greet you, comrade.
Good evening.
Comrade, I greet you, and please carry on.
Okay, I'm calling from Balikumbat.
Wow, from Balikumbat. Please carry on, comrade.
Yeah, we have been molested here by our senator.
Yes, you have been molested by your senator in Balikumbat. The people of Ambazonia are listening.
Yeah, we are now staying in the bush.
Okay.
We are staying in the bush. Some of us have not even seen our children and our wives all these days.
Yes.
On the place.
Yes. It's very painful. It's very scary. But comrade, let me repeat that again, that there are relief and support numbers on the screen now. There's an email address, ambervictims@gmail.com. Please send all of this information to us, but most importantly, send a warning to these perpetrators. Let them know that we know them, and let them know that they will have their day when justice will be served. Fellow comrade, please talk. We're listening. Oh, we lost that caller. Our lines are still open. Hello, caller, please talk.
Hello?
Greetings, please carry on.
Yes, I'm calling from Mancon.
Yes, from Mancon, please carry on.
Yes, they are stimulating us here.
Okay.
Then they say we should pay the electricity because they have said that we should not pay bills. But now they are taking the light off, removing the meters.
Yep. My sister, you're the first lady calling tonight, and we're very happy you connected. Remember when His Excellency presented the speech, he was very clear on something that had been agreed in the Governing Council.
So we are forced to pay the bills.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. We're not surprised. We are not surprised. Our people must understand that when they cut internet, they will cut water, and they will cut electricity, whether you stop paying or not. What's important is that we must actually prepare to go through some tough times and send a very strong message that will have nothing to do with Yaoundé. We understand your pain, but do not forget the focus. We have another caller on the line. My sister, we hear you. Hello, caller. Dig wells, buy generators, use them in your communities, support each other. The wars will come, whether we go out or not, because these criminals are after resources, not after us. They want to kill all of us so they could take our resources. Hello, comrade. Good evening. Please carry on.
Good evening, Mr. Min.
I greet you, comrade. Please carry on.
Yeah, I'm calling, by the way, from Donga Mantung.
Wow, amazing, my brother. Please carry on.
I've been hearing some messages around that they are writing names of our leaders that have marched on the 5th of October, that they're going to arrest them.
Okay.
So I would like to sound this warning to those people that are walking around writing the names, that if they arrest any one of our leaders, they should be very, very careful, because anything can happen to any one of them who are betrayers.
Yeah.
So I would like you to sound this warning to those agents of the Republic of Cameroon. They should be very, very careful this time around, because we are not more part of the Republic again.
Absolutely. Thank you, comrade. You all heard. And we want to give a very serious warning to all betrayers again. You cannot be sleeping in your houses and eating bribe money while our people sleep in bushes. We're warning you, let it stop. La Republic knows they cannot arrest all our people. Their jails cannot contain us. So what must we do? Move forward. Forward ever, backwards never. Betrayers must know we will abandon them like lonely islands. Hello, caller.
Hi.
I greet you. Please carry on.
Yeah, I want to congratulate the team for what they are doing, a massive job.
Yeah.
But I'm giving a warning to all our people, especially those back home, who goes around and show our family members in the diaspora for us to be attacked.
Yeah.
They attack our parents. Our parents are scared to be home now.
Yeah.
Please be careful, because if my mom or my sister or brother get hurt, I'm going to hurt you too.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, SCBC is the official voice of the Ambazonian people, and these very bad elements amongst us. The message is clear to you. We are non-violent people, but we will defend ourselves at all costs. And that's a clear message. Comrade, greetings. You've got the lines.
Hello.
I greet you, sir. Please carry on. You're very clear.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You're very clear. If you see my hand in the air, it means I can hear you. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm calling from Momo, to be precise, Batibo.
Wow. We're proud of you. People from Batibo, Momo County. Please carry on.
Yeah, I just have a suggestion to make here, because the way La Republic is killing our people.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in Batibo.
Yeah.
We know where the SGOs, the state council, they live. We can do anything ugly at any time.
Yeah.
It's our village. We know how to treat them.
Yeah.
We just need somebody like just 1 or 2 guns.
Yeah.
Know how to deal with these people. If we can handle them from village to village, they cannot do anything with us.
Yeah.
Because I know my village very well. Nobody can try me there. So
Yeah.
we know where they live. We know where they eat. We know where they shower.
Yeah.
We just need, if you people can talk with guys village to village, they know, in basketball, we know where we can handle, how we can handle our SDO.
Yeah.
The state council, the governing people from La Republic, we know how to handle them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that should be the best way at this moment, that they are killing our people, that we can back up and do something, because it is really, really hard on our people.
Yeah.
We know how we can do at any time. We know where they sleep, we know where they eat, we know where even their kids. We just need somebody to organize our guild, just 1 or 2 guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they're killing, we kill them. They'll be the people to run from our villages.
Yeah.
Nobody will stay. We know where. If you are military, somebody from La Republic, we can handle you at any time.
Yeah.
If you are a police from La Republic, we can handle you at any time. In my village, Batibo.
Yeah.
I think same thing can go to Santa, Bafut, Mbengui, and the rest.
Yeah.
So we just need, if you can mobilize from village to village, we know how to handle it. They
Yeah.
can't be one in our village.
Yeah.
We know all the control, we know all the angle, we know all the backyard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the good job, sir.
My brother, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Our hearts are very deep with sorrow. But we equally want to thank colonial administrators who backed off and were not part of the carnage. To those that were part of the carnage, you've heard the voice of the people. We are very clear to say our people have a right to defend themselves, and they will defend themselves. Further details on how to do that will be relayed by the Department of Defense. We've been very clear to say we will not get into war with La Republique du Cameroon, but we will defend ourselves at all costs. Thank you, brother from Batibo. Hello, caller, you have the lines.
Okay, hello, this is Doris from Belgium.
Doris, my sister, greet you. Please carry on.
Yeah, my name is Doris. I'm calling from Belgium.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, my sister. Please carry on.
I'm from Batibo County.
Oh, Batibo. I love Belgium and I love Batibo. Carry on, please.
Right, and my concern now is about the people that are wounded and that the army.
The line is breaking, my sister.
Yes. And I learned the
Sorry, my sister, your line is breaking. Your line is breaking, and I don't want to miss.
And we don't know their whereabouts.
My sister, I have not heard what you said. Please repeat.
I learned the La Republique armies.
Yeah, carry on.
I am saying that
yeah.
the La Republique armies are taking the wounded.
Yeah.
Are taking the wounded and to unknown destination.
Yeah.
So my concern, I have acted as a Takumbang in Belgium.
Yeah.
And I want to be very clear that for mothers crying out loud,
yeah.
to bring back our wounded to be cured. My concern, I have acted as a Takumbang in Belgium. Yeah. I want the wounded very clear that for mothers crying out loud.
Yeah. All right. All right. Do not take the next call. I just need to address my sister from Belgium. I did not hear everything you said, but I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the Governing Council to give a very special thank you to all our Takumbans in the homeland and in the diaspora. The struggles moved to the next level because of you. The pain of a child in anguish can never be felt by anybody more than the mother. That's why you came out on the 22nd to send a message to Colonial Biya to let our people go. Until date, he continues to abduct many of our people, and worst case, those that have been shot. We ask our God to watch. We ask our people, as soon as they're able to give us any kind of information, where our people have been taken to give it to us, because there are international organizations waiting to put this criminal terrorist government where they belong. But would like all parents and family members out there to know that the Governing Council is very saddened, and we're working round the clock to make sure that things are stabilized. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Caller, I greet you, sir. Please carry on.
Christian.
Carry on, please.
Yeah,
You've got airwaves.
Yeah, I'm the voice of God in this struggle. The thing I want to say, God is with us.
Okay.
That we should still stand still.
Yeah.
God is still saying something.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm saying that those our leaders that they said they want to present, they are going like they are presenting us dead. They only recognize them when we have problems because they give bribe to them to turn to us.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Let Ambassador don't worry. God is with us and in our own side.
Wonderful.
It's just that I'm still on my journey. I've not reached where God wants me to, but I stop it. Whether they call that one Italian Jerome, he will be dumb for his lifetime.
Yeah.
Even when we will be having our victory, he will not be able to speak.
Yeah.
Unless I'm not the one God chooses for this, for Amazonia. Unless I'm not the one.
Yes. Yes.
Please, I want you people to help me to tell me about my history.
Yeah.
What happened in 1983 in Fish Point in hospital roundabout?
Okay.
Yeah, I want to know that story because since I was born, the man that was shot on that day, that the ambulance driver, the nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my father.
Oh,
but I've never known of that story. I'm in Germany.
Oh, damn.
Me protect this Amazonian.
Oh, damn.
Amazonian fight.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but I'm still struggling. I need to reach where he promised me to reach. But now like this, nobody should stand down. God is with us.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. I know all what is happening. I'm praying. I'm on prayer, and all of us, we should continue only on prayer.
Yes.
I want you to know that God is with us.
Amen.
There is no struggle in this world that you have ever seen. The people choose God first to take the struggle. You know, even the chaos, we are still going in peace. But God tells me that we have to fight, and He is with us. And the only thing I want to all those our leaders. As for the Prime Minister, who said he went to protect us, but they did not recognize him. But it's time like this, they will go and give him bribes to turn and be behaving as if they recognize him as a Prime Minister of a region in Cameroon. That is a lie. For a country will come together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All of us will die for it.
Yes.
When I will put my feet back in that country, and I know I will put it back, and I will tell them that I'm coming. All of them know about me, and God has given them the truth. That is why the president of Cameroon cannot come back there, because he knows, and he will not speak nothing. He know about me.
Yeah.
Minister.
Yeah, Chiruma.
Ask him the dream.
Yeah.
Chiruma get the dream, and all those ministers, all those people that are behind killing people, they have the dream. God has warned them.
Yeah.
That is why some of them are backing up, some of them are hiding.
Yeah.
That all of them will pay, even the military.
Yeah.
God has promised the military with the money that they have never seen.
Yeah.
It will come to them.
Yeah.
Let them kill, let them rape. Let everybody do anything that he can do now. Because the time come. I'm saying this to all Abazona.
Yeah.
Let nobody to have any fear that they are killing us or not.
Yeah.
God is with us.
Amen. Amen.
We, all of us, as you are seeing like this, all of us, as you are seeing like this,
Amen.
we will stand and see that day.
Amen.
The people that they are dying, they are only to us, it's only to give us the courage.
Yes.
Nobody should go down. Nobody should fear.
Yes.
Because God is with us, my brother.
Amen.
And I'm still on my own journey. That's why I've not said anything.
Amen.
And I'm praying for you people.
Amen. Amen.
I'm on prayer. Now I'm 6 months now on prayer. I don't want to disclose myself to any people now. You understand?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Man of God, thank you so much. You make me think of Prophet Ashu Kingsley, the statesman, and I celebrate him for the wonderful work he's been doing. I celebrate our own very Mark Barita for what a tall job, one of the best soldiers of our revolution. The message from a man of God and from all of these great men is stand still. Victory is assured. Paul Otanganji said there was no Anglophone problem. Where is he today? Do you still hear his voice? Thank you, man of God. Comrade, you have the airwaves.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Oh, we lost that. Fellow comrades, we've been very clear from the governing council that this is God's ordained fight. Please do not take glory for any of our victories. All the glory is to our Maker, the one and only God. Hello, caller.
Hello, I want to ask.
Yes, caller, I hear you. Talk my ear.
I want you people to help us and ask.
Okay, your volume low small. You leave your volume up a little bit, a bit. I just struggle. I never hear you.
Hello.
Yes, comrade. I beg, push your volume up. I hear you fine.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Yes.
That want you people to help us and ask the United Nations.
Yeah.
That they receive human rights in this way.
Yeah.
Because now like this, they are killing us, are doing everything
I think it is the moment for the government council to for the United Nations to start into this matter. But they are not doing anything to intervene. So, and we congratulate you people. The way you people are acting on this matter.
Okay.
We will never give up. We will never let you people down.
Yeah.
Yes. So we congratulate you people much.
Okay.
For whatsoever the effort that people are putting on. So I'm calling from LBLM.
Wow, from LBLM.
Yes.
My people from LBLM, I greet you. My people from Eyomojok, from Ekona, I greet you. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you again. The message is clear from you to our people. Our resolve is very resolute. Hello, caller. You have the airwaves. Please carry on.
Yes, good evening.
I greet you, sir. Please carry on.
Yes, I'm calling from whom? The
Cameroon Student Center, AKA.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to really
appreciate you people for all
your good work,
the courage that
you have given to
us that we almost retired. I want to say that after the world,
I prefer you people tell us to fight these people.
Quality of the call is so bad, I can't hear the comrade. Yes, comrade, lift up your volume a little bit, please.
Are you getting me?
Comrade, I'm struggling. Just please lift up your volume. You're saying something so nice. Please carry on. Just push up your volume a little.
Yes. Yes. So I am saying that.
Yes.
We are waiting to fight to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am saying that we are ready to fight.
Yes.
So we are waiting just for your command,
because even if we said
yes,
we are not going to fight, our lives are in the hands of the public.
Yes, yes, yes.
We will not die like a
star. I rather die.
Yes.
A hero in the battlefield.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Please, I know you people have.
I know you people are looking for pastors. Preach the gospel. You understand the gospel that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So please,
I'm waiting. We are seriously waiting. No matter the matter, God, know that God is behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you people should
know that the people of whom they are not left out are trying our best here and here.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Yes.
No matter the matter, you people should not forget us. We are waiting just for the word.
Yes.
Let's go and fight, and we will do our best.
Absolutely.
So we are ready to fight, and more than 1,000 of us are waiting for your command, sir.
Yes. Yes. All right. I want to thank the brother who just called now. I tried to pick as much as I could, but I think the message across is that our people are ready to fight and that nothing will stop them. Fellow Ambazonians, I want to thank you all for listening. And as I close, I want to talk to the old and the uneducated in Pidgin. My mommy them, my papa them, my brother them, my sister them. We don't see the terrible thing where this terrorist government for Yaoundé, it don't do on Tabuna. We don't see them, we don't believe with eyes. If some man be talk say, this country, where will papa them be forced for form federation with them, where the federation will not be passed fine. They go hook us someday, after they call we dogs and rats, they go begin to shoot really, they shoot animal them. Will not go believe. Mommy, papa them and all man inside village or for town, wherever you day, all when I picking of a governing council, they say Asha, they say condolences. The number of people that with this criminal government, this terrorist government, they don't kill them. And worst case, where they want to kill them, they go to use You know, tribal militia, where you come out for their president in the country. They pay mercenaries and bad people them. Where they come out for that country, they call Chad. They come out for that country, they call Equatorial Guinea. They even use radioactive substance so that they destroy with people them, where it lead to more than 100 of people them being killed, thousands wounded, thousands kidnapped, and thousands on the run, with so many of mommy and sister them raped. Papa and mommy them, sister them and brother them, on Asha. This fight and a fight where God don't decide them. As God be talk for plenty of leader them, a open Red Sea move come out Egypt when a republic would go towards the promised land on top dry ground. We don't cross. Many of the army them where they do this thing for a country, God will take care of them. We will take care of them for international court them. With friendly country, they will take care of them. But maybe we know so don't cross our side. And now don't cross our side, no man no go turn back. The message from all man we don't call this night. Now no turning back. We country Ambazonia now already an independent country. From now on henceforth, more only respect will chief them where they respect will country. Chief them where they not respect will country when I pack them on the side. Papa them. When I choose people inside our community them. When I leader they will trust them. Maybe we only fly with flag. Maybe we only sing with national anthem. Maybe we learn ungovernable. But why would they do a more get sense plenty? Maybe we begin to form vigilante them. So that when the criminal they can't do anything for our country, we will stop them. School will begin on the 8th of January because we trust God. Say by that time we will don't push this occupier. And they will fit stop we for teach we begin that fine book. We don't teach them so that lawyer them if you go back for work, teacher them if you go back for work, we begin them if you start again learn so that they go fit catch up with the future. But we are sure when I say we go hell for make sure. So when school they begin, we not only give them fine book. We go fasting. We implementation plan them so that whatever they don't lost and can't reach now, they go get them. The one a unanimous message. Now say we did together. No mind small coach where it happen between one brother and the other brother. All we be focused. Any man where go disturb with a road, we go pack him. Focus until we push the criminal out of the land so that we will make the land a very beautiful land again. I thank una and God bless una. Good night. And happy independence again while we mourn. Make we take care of all man. Where they either kill them, either hospital or either run. Make we contribute money, we contribute chop, we contribute all things. Make we send their number for governing council. So if we give them for international organization, then they go use them for teach this terrorist criminal government a lesson. God go bless we and Ambazonia go be free of La Republic very soon. Thank you and good night from the governing council.